We'll begin with update on Maiduguri flood as Governor Babagana Zulum today went around Maiduguri Metropolis to assess the level of devastation in the flood-affected areas. The governor, during the assessment visit, promised to constitute a committee that would ascertain the level of damage caused by the floods for quick recovery response. Senior reporter Jesse Tafida has details.
The Borno State governor makes his way through the flood waters to see for himself what is left after flood washed away the ancient town. From the CP junction, we went through the popular post office area, Bulabulin and Shahuri, Budum and custom areas. The devastation was huge, and the cost of what is lost is yet to be ascertained. The governor promised more intervention to victims and displaced persons.
It might be associated with climate change. That is the most important thing. So what we need to do is to now reinforce the dam, reconstruct the dam, expand the capacity of the dam, and most importantly, defilt the drains. Because most of the waterways were occupied by human beings. If you can remember a few years ago when I was sworn in as the governor of Borno State, I followed all this route and I asked people to bucket on the waterways. But unfortunately, people don't heed to our own advice. People build homes right inside waterways, thereby reducing the width of the canals. These are some of the factors that are responsible for the overflowing. But most importantly, we are witnessing rainfall, storm, that has not been, seen in the recent years, up to 50, 60 years ago. So the soil has become completely saturated. So what we decided to do is to give 10,000 naira to each of the head of household.
Thousands of residents are still stranded, unable to return to their homes. The government have also sent out a search and rescue team to bring people to safety. In this temporary shelter for the displaced, the government has given out cash and other relief items. Jesse Tafida, TVC News, Maiduguri.
Meanwhile, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has visited Vice President Kashim Shettima to sympathize with him over the devastating flood that washed away valuables and destroyed property in Maiduguri. The Speaker told State House correspondents that the National Assembly and the Presidency have developed a new strategy to ensure succor gets to the affected residents of Maiduguri. He also assured that he has confidence in the capacity of the Borno State Governor to ensure the 3 billion naira earmarked for the federal government, by the federal government for intervention will get to those desperately in need.
I'm here today to commiserate with His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, over the devastating flood incidents in Maiduguri. I used that opportunity to discuss extensively on the problems and the situation of the people, particularly those affected by the flood in Borno. And we have also designed some strategies and solutions that both the National Assembly and the Presidency will implement in the next few days to bring succor to the victims of the flood in Borno State. With a governor that is known for transparency, the governor of Borno, I am absolutely sure that whatever is provided for them from the Presidency will be transparently distributed.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetukun, has sympathized with the government and people of Borno State on the loss of lives and property to the devastating flood that occurred in the state. In a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Olumoyiwa Adejobi, the IGP expressed great concern on this disaster that has also internally displaced many residents who have been counting their losses. The IGP hereby reassured the good people of Borno State that the police force will continuously deploy its human and material resources to aid rescue operations and give support in all areas to provide succor to the state and restore normalcy as much as possible. Now, for more updates, UNICEF Nigeria representative Christian Monduote joins me on the news. Good to have you join us.
Thank you very much. And congratulations for you to bringing this into the news. It is very important that the population in Maiduguri can have access to information that will prevent several outbreaks of diseases if we jointly know how to deal with the aftermath of the floods. But I want
and let's talk about the aftermath of the flood, like you've just mentioned. Looking at the scale of the disaster, we understand that 40% of Maiduguri was flooded or has been flooded, and then we also know that neighboring states as well are also flooded. For example, Kaduna. Just looking at the scale and the magnitude of this disaster, could we term this a global emergency?
Well, if the rains continue with the severity they have been, definitely we will have more states in emergency situation. We have already, as you said, Kaduna, but we have Jigawa and we have Bauchi. Of course, out of all, the one that has been with major impact is the one that happened in Maiduguri due to the collapse of the dam. I want to say that congratulations, our respects to the government of Borno, because they have rapidly stepped in, and we are working together. There are some shelters that have been activated where people are still arriving, because there is a lot of displaced people whose houses were flooded. But yes, if the weather continues, the rainy season continues the way it is, unfortunately, we are foreseeing that there will be more floods.
All right, so let's talk about, because you said you're on ground. We know that schools have been affected, and once schools are affected, that's basically, it means that children are also affected. They won't be able to continue with learning in the meantime. What would be your recommendation in that regard, and would UNICEF be getting involved?
Okay, so for example, in the case of Maiduguri, what they're reopening the places where IDPs were staying some time back. So at this moment, there are no schools that have been used as shelters. Of course, in other states where they don't have this type of facilities, some schools might have been habilitated to receive people who need a shelter. Definitely, this will interrupt the school year, and that is why one of the reasons as well were that we have been working a lot on alternative learning pathways. So the Nigeria Learning Passport is a sort of easy program that you can access with some devices or phones that we can bring even to the shelters, so children can still keep learning. But in these first days after a flood, we need first to ensure that people are safe. Second, that people's health is okay. Third, that we can prevent diseases and outbreaks such as malaria, cholera, gastrointestinal diseases. And of course, we have to take care of the protection of children and women. There is a high risk of acts of violence against them. And definitely as the situation, I wouldn't say the situation improves, because these are people that are out of their home. But as the situation comes a little bit stable, then we go in with education.
Thank you so much for your time. UNICEF Nigeria representative Christian Munduati.
Thank you.